my good friend from the NFL Network. Even though it is vacation time and he should be spending time with his family, he is kind and gracious enough to give us a few minutes. Hi, Mike.
No, there are no vacations when your kids are out of school. Today was the last day for my daughter. So now I got to figure out what to do with her for the next 3 months or whatever it is.
Good luck with that, man.
Which is why Nome, Alaska sounds awesome right now.
Has she ever seen Nome? I mean, she could see the snow, the glaciers, a bear.
No. You're missing the point. Missing the point. Nome, Alaska by myself.
Oh, where you want to go?
Right now.
Dude,
yeah, so I might, if I was in that league, I may have taken a dive.
Hey, man.
Sorry, honey. Gotta,
I don't know if you've heard. I've got time. I'll meet you.
Listen, you and I could have a great trip. We could hike something. I'm sure in Nome, Alaska.
We can hike something
in the cold.
Yeah.
It's gonna be mid-90s and humid here in Jersey later this week. So whatever it is in Nome would probably be a welcome change. So yeah, I love that.
So you go to Nome, Mike Garafolo, to get away from the heat dome. Is that what they're calling it? A heat dome on the East Coast? Something like that?
No, see, I was gonna go with I'm going to Nome to get away from home.
Boom. Boom. Or to get away from checking your phone for a Tua Tagovailoa contract. With Trevor Lawrence done, is he the next one? And will it be anytime soon?
I thought it was going to be done by the end of the spring. As a matter of fact, we had a me versus Ian, which whatever it is, I usually win. But a me versus Ian segment where it was like, which quarterback is going to be the next to get a deal done, Tua or Trevor? And I actually went first. I had first dibs, and I took Tua. So he beat me. Not because he knows anything better, but just because he got lucky. So I thought it was going to be done by the end of the spring. I also, to me, the number, and it's not just me, but I'm based on conversations I had, the number was going to be below Joe Burrow for Tua, because this is a guy who, he wants what's fair, and he's got a lot of pride, but he's also not the kind of guy to be pushing for every last penny, especially when, just a short while ago, he was considering retirement, right? The difference between 55 and 53 million a year probably seems negligible for that kind of guy, because it's all gravy at this point. Once you get to that point where you go, you know what, should I not be doing this? I think I could do this. I have enough faith in myself to stay healthy, which he's done. And if he's got to prove it again, that's only going to make the price go up next year for him. It might get to a point where he goes, I'm not going to fight for every penny. I want what's fair, but I also want us to remain competitive. All the other reasons why you wouldn't necessarily take top dollar. But you keep pushing a guy, no matter who he is, no matter how fair he is, no matter how grateful he is. He may say, you know what, I want top dollar now. You had your chance. So we'll see.
Talking to Mike Garafolo here from NFL Network, and that's the point I have always tried to make, and it's the one I made last week as well with the Trevor Lawrence contract, is that it's better to sign your guy now, especially a quarterback, than it is to sign him later, because the cost is only going to go up, the market's only going to go up, the cap is only going to go up, and if you think your guy is the guy, then lock in and do your deal for that guy now. But something, Mike, in my gut tells me that there is something bigger at play here in Miami, and that is, I guess, organizationally, I feel like this season there's a little bit more on the line. Like, can this super fun, sexy, fast sports car that runs really well in September, can it run well in January? Does it need snow tires? Can it operate? Can they win a playoff game collectively? Can this unit, can this offense that is so amazing actually be productive? And is anything in this Tua negotiation, is that holding this up at all? Like, might they just be inclined, we'll give you 23 this year on the fifth-year option, and if we got to tag you next year, so be it, because we're not totally convinced?
Well, they've been talking. They continue to talk. And they will talk, from my understanding. So it's not to that point yet, Andrew, and I haven't sensed that they're getting close to that point. And this could go up to week one if you wanted to. Both parties, both sides, indicated that they wanted this thing done early, which is why I thought, it would be quick and easy. And again, I thought he would be willing to come in under Burrow, which would, make sense for it to get done quickly and early in the spring, and then it didn't. So now you're at the point now where you've got to figure out if you want to get to that point where you're up against training camp or up against the start of the season, or do you want to just dig in and get this thing done in the dead time between now and the start of training camp so that it's behind you and this is not a topic of conversation during training camp? I would think you'd want that done. Trevor set the bar. Listen, I go back to what you just said because there is another quarterback situation that's actually, to me, more interesting.
Dallas?
And it's Jordan Love.
Oh, that one.
Not to say the two isn't interesting, but Love is interesting because that's the one where if you don't pay him now, the price could be exponentially higher. But also, and I'm not saying that I'm out on him, but he doesn't have a long track record.
Nope.
Right? I mean, it's only been the one full season now. And I keep saying this every time I am on air and I read or say that Jordan Love was second in the NFL in touchdown passes, I got to go back and check it. I'm like, is that right? He was second in the NFL in touchdown passes last year, and he played really well. He played really well in the postseason. He showed you the makings of a guy that they thought he was and hoped he would be, and the reason that they drafted him and groomed him the way that he did. So, you could get him. He may actually wind up crossing Burrow and Lawrence. And you may say, how is that guy now the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? Well, because of what you said, you wait on him, it could go even higher. So that, to me, is the one I want to see how that works out. I believe it's going to get done. I believe he gets an extension this summer, and I believe it could be for a really big number.
Jordan Love has played in parts of 27 career NFL games. And yes, talking to Mike Garafolo, he did win in the postseason last year. He did go to Dallas, throw 3 touchdown passes, and they collectively, not all Jordan Love, but a lot of it Jordan Love, blew out the Cowboys. And that leads us then to Dak. Why does it seem like Jerry Jones is more than content to let Dak hit free agency, Mike?
It does, despite what he's been saying. I mean, I left the league meeting when Jerry spoke and indicated that they were comfortable kind of letting this play out a little bit, and everything that we heard down there was like, whoa, this is actually, this sounds like he's going to play it out and be a free agent. And then the Cowboys tried to walk it back, and Jerry and Stephen Jones both saying that it's still a priority to get him done. Now, I've been given no indication they're any closer. And when you've got the potential for $60 million sitting out there, and listen, this goes back to like Kirk Cousins after he collected a couple of franchise tags. Oh, he's betting on himself. Well, it's a lot easier to bet on yourself with, in Dak's case, $160 million off his last contract plus what he made before that in your pocket. All right, that's a lot easier bet when you're at $200 million overall in career earnings plus whatever you made off the field as well. So, no doubt that he's willing to do that. I just feel like the pressure on Dak is not a monetary one. The pressure on Dak is just, everything we've been talking about, you can put up the numbers in the regular season and you get to the postseason, this team has got to win. This team's got to advance. We got to see the Cowboys back in the conference championship game and potentially the Super Bowl at some point. So that's the biggest thing for him. We know the pressure on the head coach, but I don't think Dak Prescott enters this season with his knees knocking at the prospect of free agency. If anything, he's played well in free agent years before. No,
if anything, he would love it. If I'm Dak, I would love it. Look, barring the major injury, and he's already gone through that, and then obviously the injury can complicate everything for any player in the NFL, but I would love it. Listen, even if they go like 9-8, okay? There are so many fingers to be pointed inevitably on that team, in that organization. He is still going to break the bank next year if he is a free agent. I like the world, like things that would have to go wrong for Dak Prescott to be a free agent and not be highly compensated and sought after. Like, I can't even imagine what that story would have to be for him to hit free agency and for him to not have a long list of suitors. No, again, to me, it's not monetary. It's the lure of being the quarterback of the Cowboys. And who knows? He may be done with it. Listen, at some point, Tom Brady was done being quarterback of the Patriots and wanted to go somewhere else for factors that didn't have anything to do with the team or the fan base or the location or anything like that. But he may say, you know what? Depending on how the season goes, enough of this. I got the chance to go elsewhere. Let me go elsewhere with a lot less noise. And I don't know. I'm projecting. I mean, he'll never say that. I've been given no indication that that's the case, but that may be part of it. He may want to play this out and say, let me see what my options are. Let me see what we are. You're never going to get
let's say the Cowboys fire Mike McCarthy after the season. We know his situation, obviously. It would be a reboot from a head coaching standpoint, but you're never going to get a full reboot with the Cowboys, right? I mean, we've been talking about Belichick or whoever. It's going to be a proven coach, and it's going to be a hit-the-ground-running type situation. So I don't think it's going to be, from that standpoint, a la Matthew Stafford, where he said, you know what, I've been in Detroit. It hasn't happened. I can't sit here for another 2 years while we're rebooting. I've got to go elsewhere where I can win right away. It's not going to be that type of situation. It's just going to be at the end of this run with Dallas, at a pivotal point in your career where at some point things are going to start to fall off, do you want to explore the possibility of playing elsewhere? Again, it's not a monetary thing. It's not a worry about suitors type of thing, barring injury, like you said. But it may be just where he is in his career and what he wants to do and what he wants to see going forward.
Talking to Mike Garafolo, NFL Network. One last thing before we let you go and actually enjoy a vacation. What is put you on the spot here, one training camp storyline, and this is such a lazy topic bar, that is quote-unquote flying under the radar? Is there a story that you're keeping an eye on for training camp that you don't think is getting enough attention?
No, because I feel like we've hit everything. I don't know. I mean, the quarterback battles are going to be, in New England, in Minnesota?
Right. Ayuk or Stafford or Higgins. I guess he signed his thing. Is there anything?
Yeah.
Tyreek's contracts, Amari Cooper,
No, I just feel like you mentioned all these are all going to get sorted out at some point, one point or another. Maybe. All right, here you go. Maybe Micah Parsons. Maybe.
With 2 years left?
I say it's flying. Huh?
With 2 years left on his deal?
Just because it's just so he's could it result in some kind of trade? I've heard people speculate. To me, that seems excessive. And how can we get to that point? So maybe Micah is one where it's always got that combustibility factor. And Jane Slater, our excellent NFL Network reporter who covers the Cowboys a ton for us, we've talked about it plenty. It's like, what's this resolution going to be? Is Micah Parsons going to be playing for a different team in the next year, 2 years, whatever? Is he going to sign a long-term extension? That's the one. When you rattle off all those other words, I'm like, they'll all get sorted out. T. Higgins will probably play out his tag, but
sure,
he signed it, so he'll be there. So this is the one where, if you ask me what I see coming, I have no idea. So I'll probably say that one.
Other than a trip potentially to Nome, Alaska.
Let's see if we can get a direct flight from Newark. What do you think? I'm going to say no.
Make a mileage run there in United, buddy. Mike Garafolo now with the family on vacation, taking 10 minutes or 12 minutes, whatever it was. I apologize, and I thank you kindly, and have a great summer, bud.
You got it, pal. Let's chat again, even if it's not on the air.
No, let's do that. Mike Garafolo, everybody.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.